What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another post game here on Mets Central, and the Mets win 8-5 over the Chicago Cubs. And there you go. The magic number's down to 3. They continue to control their own fate. They get a pretty much must win in this scenario here. They get the job done, and all it comes down to now is getting things done in Miami. So, good win, job's not done. That's really how I'm looking at this. And all I could sit here and say is I really don't have a feel of how these last 3 games are going to go. I don't, because they're going to play the Marlins. We know how it goes when they play the Marlins. And if we were able to clone Noah McLean for the last few games here, I'd feel good about this team making the playoffs. Unfortunately, we can't do that. And I know people are going to get caught up in the 5 earned runs from Noah McLean. I'll go into more detail with his start as we talk about this game, but 11 strikeouts from him? Are you freaking kidding me? And then how about this Met offense in tonight's game coming through from unexpected heroes? Brett Beatty, thank you. And you know what? I'll start by saying this. Carlos Mendoza, thank you. I've been very critical of Mendoza. It is no secret how I feel about Mendoza. But playing Brett Beatty right now at third base is the right move. Because when you talk about his defense, and his offense has been okay, but when you talk about it over the likes of Vientos, which why was he batting fourth? That's something I did not understand from Mendoza today. But when you look at the difference between Brett Beatty and the rest of the second base / third baseman group, he needs to be playing. I don't care that Imanaga's a lefty. He's got to be in the lineup. And thankfully, Mendoza ended up putting him in the lineup, and it paid off. Tyrone Taylor, I love watching this guy play baseball. I'll tell you right now, Cedric Mullins is in this game. The Mets probably don't win it. They might not win this game with Cedric Mullins in. That's how much of a difference Tyrone Taylor's making right now. And who would have thought? Who would have thought in July we'd be saying this? Before I go further into the game, leave a like on your way into the live stream. Subscribe if you're watching on replay. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, especially if you're Met fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when we upload or go live here on the channel. As for this game, though, again, just a very weird game all around, to be honest with you, and way too much of a roller coaster for my liking, considering what the score was at one point, considering the Mets got off to the start they did, getting on the board, going up 2-0 early in this game. You have that weird pop out with Swanson in foul territory, which honestly, I wasn't even sure the rule of that. Craig Counsell is an idiot for challenging that one, but the Mets get a run off of that because Lindor had a leadoff walk. Soto had a double, or not Soto, Alonso had a double. And then you have that pop out, which brought in a run. Brandon Nimmo coming through, which I'll talk about him in a little bit. But then Cowboy Ohtani gets to work on his craft. And how about when he struck out the side in that second inning? I mean, it is just, again, I know and I understand the 5 earned runs is alarming to some. But at the end of the day, I don't think that's going to happen again. So I am not going to look at the 5 earned runs. I look at the 11 strikeouts more as an important stat. If it was something where, let's say David Peterson gave this slash line, I'd be looking at the 11 strikeouts differently and say, maybe Peterson's not the right example. He's not getting 11 strikeouts ever. But let's say Senga did this, right? Where he got 11 strikeouts but allowed 5 earned runs going 5 1/3 innings. I'd be sitting here saying, yeah, well, you know, it's cool that he got 11 strikeouts, but 5 earned runs once again. With Noah McLean, I look past it because of the fact that it's not the norm for him. And because of the fact that he was so brilliant through so much of the start. Outside of honestly just 3 pitches that weren't good. But in the 3rd inning, Francisco Lindor, huge home run, cementing another 30-30 season in the books for himself, making it a 3-0 game there. And then we go to the 4th inning. Nimmo gets a single, Torrens hits a single, and Brett Baty makes it 6-0 with an opposite field home run. And from then and there, I'm like, could we please make this easy? But it's the Mets. They can't. But I was wishfully thinking and hoping, could we please make this easy? Make this a comfortable win. Seiya Suzuki then hits a home run to make it 6-1. Dansby Swanson in the 5th inning makes it 6-2. Uh-oh. But then the 6th inning, Taylor opens up the scoring again. Nimmo gets a single, Brett Baty with 1, and then Tyrone Taylor brings in 2 runs to make it 8-2. Where would this team be without Tyrone Taylor hooping out there the way he has in center field? Because he has just been, ever since he has come back from the IL, or not ever since he has come back from the IL, ever since they acquired Mullins, I should say, it just seems like he's been on a mission as of lately, and it would have been nice if he did this before they wasted assets on Mullins, so they maybe could have targeted a different position of need. But nonetheless, I'm not going to sit here and complain about it. He is coming through right now when it matters most, both with the glove and at the plate right now, just getting timely hits. And I know we're going to look at the stat line, the slash line at the end of the year and say, not good. But we're going to remember these clutch moments if the season goes on for a longer period of time, which that's, of course, an important step. And then Noah McLean in that bottom of the 6th inning just got into trouble there, unfortunately. And I can't kill him for the Seiya Suzuki home run, though. I'm sorry if you expect me to. I can't. Look at where that pitch was to Seiya Suzuki. That should have jammed him inside, pause. And he ends up turning on it and makes it 8-5. Sure, you could say that he shouldn't be throwing inside to Seiya Suzuki there, but I can't ridicule him there for that one. I really can't. And I don't understand why people were saying Mendoza should have pulled McLean earlier than he did. I'm sorry. I'm in no rush to get Ryan Stanek in this baseball game. No, thank you. No, thank you. And while Stanek got the last 2 outs, and you know what? I'm going to say something I didn't think I'd be saying. Ryan Stanek, as of lately, has not been... I don't want to sit here and say he's been great lately, because that would be a lie. But over his past 7 games, he's pitching to a 2.35 ERA and a .91 WHIP. I can't sit here and say he's been horrible lately. While I still think it's ridiculous, the love affair of putting him into close situations, and even that spot I questioned putting him in, I have to say, if he turns it up when it matters, like he did last year, I'll take it. And then where would this team be without Brooks Raley, by the way? How about Brooks Raley striking out the side as well? I mean, where would this team be if they didn't bring him back? And Gregory Soto was the lone lefty, which maybe they acquire second lefty at the deadline. But when Minter went down and they had no one to go to until Raley came back, I mean, it changed everything once they got Brooks Raley back. Tyler Rogers given a 1-2-3 inning, which I'll be honest with you, in the moment, I didn't love going the Rodgers there just because I wanted to go to Diaz for either 6 outs or I wanted Diaz to pitch the 8th inning because of the part of the order coming up and then go to Rodgers in the 9th. But thankfully, it didn't matter as in that 9th inning, Edwin Diaz gets things done as well. He allowed a single to Kelly, gets the fly out from PCA, and then gets that double play from Swanson to end the ball game. The thing that I will sit here and say, if I'm going to say I have a gripe with anything, I wish the offense showed a little bit more fight throughout certain points of the game. I mean, I love that they got Imanaga out of the game. Would have loved to seen a little bit of fight against the bullpen. A little bit more fight, I should say, against the Cubs bullpen. But all I could sit here and say is at this point, just freaking get in. And I know that goes against what I was saying yesterday, but at this point, I don't know. Like, I go back and forth on it all the time. This season's just been too much of a freaking roller coaster for me. It really has. Because the positive you look at here is the bullpen's been sharp lately. And I just don't know what to make of this team. Because there are still little things I want to see them do right. I don't know. But nonetheless, they go into Miami for 3 games that are going to make or break the season. I mean, it's just that simple. It's just that simple. The Marlins, even though they are eliminated from playoff contention, are going to play their asses off because that's just how it goes. All I know is you better show up in Miami. And that's why I don't care about winning this game. I don't care about winning this series. I care about what you do in the next series now. Glad you won the series, but this team has shown a tendency of falling flat on their faces after series wins. Don't let it happen in Miami. Nonetheless, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat right now. As I am feeling lost right now, to be honest with you, with what to make of this club right now. I truthfully feel lost because how could he not? I mean, it's just been way too much of a roller coaster. There are games like tonight where it's like you see what they're capable of. It's just never freaking consistent. Taylor hooping at the plate and in center field. He's been missed. That short IL stint, he was missed. McLean was fine tonight. Obviously, the 11K speak for themselves. Speak for themselves. He just made some bad pitches that hurt him. I thought Mendoza should have took him out after. I don't agree with that though, because again, I was in no rush to get Ryan Stanek in this game. That's my opinion on that. I get the point, but once again, we state the obvious, but if you could take care of business, you will get in. If we can't beat a bad team in the Marlins, there's nothing to play for, then you don't deserve to get in. Exactly the point, yeah. And that's why I'm kind of sitting here saying you needed the win, but job's not done. And now you got to take care of the job in Miami. And to me, that series, stating the obvious here, it's going to tell a lot, but not just for the fact that, if it makes or breaks if they make the playoffs or not, but also because if you are truly going to turn on a switch and get hot at the right time, then You got to show that starting in Miami because you need something to build on, like I said yesterday, going into the playoffs. But ugly games like yesterday, that's where I'm worried because those kind of games can't happen with the piss poor defense. Helsley's back and we got a circle of trust and Stanek back. The bullpen becomes a lot more scary. And Ryan Helsley underratedly has been better as well, which we'll talk more about probably on the podcast tomorrow. But that's the one thing I could say has been a positive as of lately is the bullpen. But I still worry because you still have just a complete mess of a rotation right now. I'd be feeling so much differently if this team had just one more decent starting pitcher. Believe it or not, if we get in, the Dodgers do not scare me at all. I'm not going to say anything because I'm careful for what I wish for here. There are times where I've downplayed what teams would be in the playoffs and it has bit me in the ass. So I'm not going to sit here and say I have no feel. All I have a feel for is how this Mets team has been to tell me I have no clue. That's why if they get in, I have no clue. But I like your chances in a game where Nolan McLean's on the mound. I like their chances in a wild card series, truthfully, which we'll cross that bridge if we get there. My problem is, and I don't think it's fair to look beyond that, but I already do look beyond that because the goal wasn't to just make the NLDS. The goal was to get back to where you were or further, especially further. I don't know. Again, a conversation for another time. I'm just not there yet. My viewpoint is I want to see them get in, but reality, they probably don't deserve to get in. And that's honestly the problem is that, like, I don't know. I just have so many conflicting thoughts because of how much of a roller coaster this shit has been. Get hot at the right time. That's it. They have a winning record against the Dodgers, Phillies, Cubs. Get hot and beat them. Let's be the 2006 Cardinals who had 3 losing streaks of 7+ games. It's the little fundamental things that still scare the ever living piss out of me with this team, though. It's just those fundamental flaws. I think if they get to the dance, they flip a switch. But I really fear them dropping the ball in Miami. Yeah, I mean, between the Miami series and even the playoffs, I can't ignore how I felt last night. And that's where I'm just having trouble. Is last night I was so pissed off with this team, rightfully so, because I can't ignore how fundamentally flawed they are still with certain things. They should have called up Dylan Ross a while ago. I don't know if they're going to anymore, but they should call him up this weekend. It doesn't hurt to. And honestly, I don't know if they're going to do this because I don't know if there's any rules against this, but someone in the chat, if you know this, answer this for me. Is it possible for the Mets do a paper transaction with Noah McLean now that he made his last start for the regular season. Because if they're able to, they should do a paper transaction where they send Noah McLean down for the last series against the Marlins here and get a fresh arm up for the bullpen just to have an extra arm up. Someone could tell me if that's allowed or not. I don't really know how that works. I don't know. I don't think that would make him ineligible for the playoffs or anything. I don't think it changes anything, but I would like to see them do that if they're able to. I think that would make sense to do. But that would be a scenario where I want Dylan Ross up. If this team showed anything this year, they're capable of beating anyone, but also capable of losing to anyone. And that's why I have no feel anymore. I really don't. It's baseball. You really have to just have the perspective of make the playoffs. We didn't think we were going to the wild card last year. Think about it. The thing is, it just like it's just the fact that there's been so many issues throughout the past few weeks. Like it's one thing if they were earlier in the season or in August even and they iron those things out. It's just games like yesterday are still why I'm proceeding with caution where don't get me wrong, obviously I want them to make the playoffs and obviously it's a you could say it's a crapshoot once you get in, but I don't know how far you go is still my problem. And they just I want to see traits of a championship caliber squad. It's that simple. Yeah, with the pitching staff being a mess, you got to do a paper transaction of some sort here. That's what I think they should do with McLean. Will they? I don't know, but it would be the smart thing to do. Nico, your text. Sorry. I was just sick and tired of Beatty sitting a lot recently tonight. Sick and tired of Beatty sitting a lot recently. He showed why he needs to play every day. Yeah, especially because again, Mark Vientos, this isn't last year. This is not last year. And again, I don't get why he was in cleanup, but Brett Beatty does need to be playing almost every day. Or should be every day. Thing that I didn't get was what were we doing with Acuna in the lineup tonight though? That one I didn't understand. Nope, they can't make it stress free. And it of course is against the Marlins. Vientos needs to be traded. That's a conversation for the offseason, but tend to agree right now. But change my mind in the playoffs. That's all I could say. Is that with how much of a roller coaster this shit has been, and for how much I am hoping I eat my words for how many times I've called them frauds, called them a non-championship caliber squad, I want nothing more than to eat my words on all that stuff. And that's true. That's probably why he was, but I don't know. Acuna is just he provides nothing at the plate. He provides absolutely nothing. But it worked out. So be it. Either way, though, guys, I'm going to wrap things up here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live. A podcast will be going on tomorrow. Be on the lookout for that. I'll see you guys in the next one.